again, I told you that the first step towards beating procrastination is to make sure that you are here now. You must finish. This will not be another video you say I'll come back to later. Okay? This will know that, in fact, that's the way we know that you are serious. So hello guys. Okay. Imagine someone saying, I will finish this video later. We came for you. Okay, so say I will start now and I will finish later. I will finish after Christmas. You will finish. You started. Okay, so yeah, it's amazing. Going to spend good time with you guys, and this is one of many live sessions I'm going to have with you, and in helping you prepare, particularly towards 2025. You know, particularly so you can avoid the usual initial gra of the new year, new me, you know, and stuff, and which never see the light of the day. So what I want to do today is to help you break it down, to, you know, show you practically the way these things work. All right, and then you can learn in a very practical way how to beat procrastination. Of course, you will have to see the danger of procrastination, because you will never see it as an enemy if you don't understand the power it possesses. All right, then how to now you know, form new habits, particularly around smashing your goals. Now, the first step towards beating procrastination is to make sure, as you are starting this video, you finish. If you can skip this one, postpone it, move it for another time, say I'll finish it later, then you are simply not ready for what you want. So let's start with that. Once you start, all right, as we start this conversation, you will not leave till you what? Finish. That's the first thing we are going to learn, and I'm going to handle everyone as I would my mentees. All right, the people that I mentor, I will spend this time together week in, week out, and I'm going to be, speaking to you or with you like I do with them. So first, let's try to understand what the word procrastination means. All right, what does it mean to procrastinate? It simply means not to follow through on what you ought to do. To be a procrastinator is to form an habit or to build a character where you simply don't follow through on what you ought to do. When you ought to do something, you find ways to move into the future what ought to be done now. You see, and one of the dangers of procrastination is that you replace what ought to be done now with something much more irrelevant. So there are two sides to procrastination. First, you are moving into the future what ought to be done now. Then you are replacing what ought to be done now with something irrelevant. And sometimes that's what people don't talk about. It's the fact that when you procrastinate what you ought to do, you're actually not doing something meaningful with the time that should bring a level of value at the level of what you have pushed aside. Okay, so you understand that to be a procrastinator is to form the habit of moving for later what ought to be done now. All right, so to procrastinate is to, look at this, is to build an habit around delaying what needs immediate action. So the issue is that a person given to procrastination has a way of delaying what requires urgent action. Okay, and this simple thing we are talking about is the biggest reason why many people have died unfulfilled. It is the biggest reason why many people went to their grave unhappy. It is the biggest reason why many people died as mediocres. It is the biggest reason why many people only had dreams and never accomplished those dreams, because they kept shifting and shifting. And you see, this is it. The mistake people make around the subject of procrastination is that they think that every season lasts forever. Let me say it again. A procrastinator thinks that he will always have the same opportunity to do later what ought to be done now. And that's costly. To assume that seasons will hang around forever, to assume that opportunities will hang around forever, is to take a very, very serious risk, because nothing lasts forever. You will not always have the same opportunity to make sense. You will not always have the same opportunity to do what you ought to do. You will not always have the same opportunity to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. So never give yourself to the assumption that seasons last forever. If you understand how volatile, let me use that word, time is, and how seasons pass, one of the things you want to do with your life is to maximize every opportunity at your disposal. At the time, you ought to maximize them. Many started this year with great plans, and some kept shifting those things till those things were no longer possible. And there is no guarantee that you will not repeat the same thing next year. Again, I told you that the first step towards beating procrastination is to make sure that you are here now. You must finish. This will not be another video you say I'll come back to later. Okay? This will know that, in fact, that's the way we know that you are serious. So in case you're about to exit, stay, we are together, because next year we can't afford to have you in this shape and size. You must do something better. All right? So sometimes we underrate how dangerous procrastination is, because it is not forceful, it is not loud, it doesn't seem to pose any threat, but yet in its silence it ravages people's vision and destroys their goals till they are left empty, unaccomplished, and unfulfilled, and many died unwept and unsung. You have to understand that the things you ought to do that you have not done, there is no reward for them. As a matter of fact, a procrastinator cannot earn honor. Nobody will respect you for the dreams and the ideas you have on your head. People respect you for what you do. Nobody respects you for saying colorful things and beautiful things and powerful things. When they come around you, you are saying so many wise things. In Proverbs 24 from verse 2, the Bible says that true wisdom is a house built. So the true proof of wisdom is in what is built, not in what is said. When you see a wise man, you know a wise man through the works of his hand, not through the words of his mouth alone. So a procrastinator can have excellent speech. There are several things he wants to do, several things he wants to become, several things he wants to learn, several things he wants, but you never just get to see the execution. So what you want to do today is to move from being the talker to becoming the doer, and not just one who does it when it is convenient. All right, listen, you cannot beat procrastination without discipline. You cannot. Discipline is the ability to do what is necessary, not what is convenient. So what you want to do is to form a culture, is to build the habit of doing now what should be done now. That's what we want to do. We want to build the habit of doing now what should be done now. Make the phone calls when you should make the phone calls. Send that text message when you should send the text message. So here is the common mistake many people make. People forget that their life is a sum total of their daily little steps. When you procrastinate small things and move them, and you are not disciplined around them, you will not do essential things also, because you have formed an habit. You have found a way to bribe your conscience not to respond when you are not doing what ought to be done.